close the door behind you. You're now in the green room.
Yo, everybody, welcome to the Green Room. Today we're talking to Shaquille Noel, a drummer, educator, creator, and visionary from the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. His information can be found in the description wherever you're listening to this. I enjoyed talking to him, and I know you'll enjoy listening in on the conversation that we had. Remember, the Green Room is open to all Caribbean instrumentalists, even those who don't live in the Caribbean. So, if you're interested in talking to us, shoot us an email at lucianmusicians@gmail.com. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Now, let's get into music.
We're live.
All right. So, people will come and go. But we'll just get started with the conversation, really. As you know, I don't know if you've had the chance to listen to any episodes of The Green Room in the past.
Yeah, I was actually listening to the Keen Jules one. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's a great instrumentalist. Like, he has so much talent, bro. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. I had a good time talking to Keen. Now, I don't know if he's going to watch this, but Keen, I think your name might actually be pronounced as Kian. And if that's true, if that's true, I'm sorry, bro.
I hope it's not what we've been saying all this time.
Yeah, but I think it's Keen, and you can correct me when you hear this.
Okay, cool. Let's hope it's Keen.
Yeah, I hope it's Keen. For everybody on the Instagram Live, as you know, this is the May episode. This is the May episode of The Green Room, and on the line I have Shaquille Noel from the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. Shaquille, give the people a shout out.
Woo. Yeah, people. Shaquille Noel, I'm super happy to be here. Lucian Musicians, you're doing great things. And I'm just super happy to be in support of that. Definitely.
Yeah, man. It's our pleasure to have you on the line. Shaquille runs, some of you might have heard about the Caribbean Media Collective.
Sir.
So Shaquille is the creator of that page. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, sure, no problem. Well, as it says, the Caribbean Media Collective. I basically had this idea of showcasing high quality content specifically from the Caribbean. I'm trying my best to, bring us all together. So we have people from Trinidad, we have people from Grenada, we have people from St. Lucia. Hey. We have people from Jamaica. We have a lot of different people that we're trying to get together. So we showcase their content. And, well, because of COVID, we haven't been able to meet in person and collab. But there's a lot of prospects in the future post-COVID for us to come together and, actually do projects under the name Caribbean Media Collective. So look out for that.
Absolutely. So if y'all are on the line, if you haven't checked them out yet, after the live, y'all can go and check out the Caribbean Media Collective. Just look it up, search it up, give them a follow, shout out, whatever you do. But, while you were just introducing the Caribbean Media Collective, you mentioned COVID. And this COVID thing, man. This COVID thing.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Super crazy.
Yeah, man. It just came and just shook the world. Ever since the last episode of The Green Room, the world looks completely different to what what it did before. But I just want to know, how does Trinidad look with all this madness?
Man, honestly, I want to say at first, shout out to the Ministry of Health of Trinidad, because they definitely kicked into gear and made sure that everyone was as safe as possible. So we haven't had such a heavy impact in terms of deaths, but obviously there's been a lot of cases, and we've been trying our best to keep the lockdown going as strong as possible. But Trinidad is a very different place when it comes to these things. Like, some people are super happy about the lockdown. Some people are kind of breaking the law and going and lime by the beach and things like that. So there's two different things that are happening right now, but in general, a lot of people are taking this as serious as possible, and trying to figure out ways to work from home, trying to teach from home. The whole online thing is definitely coming into play a lot more than before. Like you see a lot of more elderly persons logging into Zoom meetings or Facebook Workplace, different things like that are being put in place. You see a lot of that happening. So
yeah, well, everybody grandmother on Zoom now,
Yeah.
But all right.
Definitely.
Now, even aside from that, in your own life as a musician, how has it affected you?
Wow. Well, bro, let me tell you, COVID-19 definitely affected my life as a musician. Like, I had so many things on the cards between April and May, because that's usually what we call the jazz season.
Right.
So you had Tobago Jazz, you had St. Lucia Jazz, you had, I think it was Grenada, had some new jazz festival they were going to do. There were so many different local events as well that were going to happen. And, I was going to be a part of many of them, but that just went out the window. So we're talking about financial effects. We're talking about, everything basically going down the drain. But, you got to keep hope. You got to keep hope. And things will work out. Things will work out, definitely.
And that's something that is a shared reality for a lot of musicians. Now, guys on the Instagram Live, I always have this nightmare that I might be talking to myself here. So if y'all can hear me, somebody just give me a wave. Give me a wave, give me some kind of emoji to let me know that y'all can hear the conversation decently. All right, there we go. We have a wave. All right.
Yes, sir. You got some waves.
Yeah, man. So you mentioned that you would be you would be playing at St. Lucia Jazz. Is that true?
Oh, that was on the cards. That was still being worked out. I had a couple of acts were, about to be announced, but it definitely didn't happen. But definitely Tobago Jazz was on for sure. I had some events in Grenada. I also had some events in Miami. So there were a lot of different things that were happening that just went straight out the door. But it happens, man. It happens. It happens. It's inevitable. So.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that, the minute people have the opportunity to go outside, they will be going back outside, and
definitely.
Things are going to look a little more normal, but I don't know if it will go back to exactly the way it was.
Definitely agree. I think Trinidad is actually coming off of lockdown next week.
Okay.
So it's going to be interesting to see how we kind of live life beyond this point. I'm guessing we're still going to have to be, socially distant. Right. And we're going to have to, wear our masks, make sure we have our hand sanitizers and stuff like that. We'll see how it goes. Definitely.
Yeah, I have a feeling we've seen the last of handshake, I don't think anybody will be shaking hands.
That's done. We're going to be doing the elbows right now, bro.
Yeah, boy. Elbows. From now on, man. Yeah, man. But now on your Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that you put out a lot of great content, and I really want to commend you for a lot of your videos. I think I saw you on Shed Tracks.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, man. So I like what you're doing. I like your videos. Great talent. But one question that I have when I see drummers recording is, what about the neighbors? What about the neighbors, boy? You living alone or you have family?
Man, that's a funny question, because I actually did a post talking about the neighbors, because I was listening back to the footage and I'm like, yo, we are playing some drums. Like, this is some volume, But honestly, there's a couple different places I record. I try to record outside as much as possible because, social distancing. There's myself and my very good friend. His name is Nicholas Thomas. At Static Nick, we record quite frequently. So I either record at his house, or he has a lot really close to his house. So we try to be away from the neighbors as much as possible. But it's hard. COVID-19 is hard, bro, and you're gonna have to hear some drums during this time because we have to get that content out. We have to.
Yeah,
We
man.
have
And
to.
you have
Have
to
to.
practice. You have to stay sharp, you know?
Of course, of course. But
You have,
I also use a lot of practice pads. I have a
Okay.
lot of practice pad equipment, so that helps a lot too. That
All
helps
right.
a lot.
All right. Yeah, that's important, man.
Yep.
You ever think about getting an electric set?
Yes, I was actually thinking about it very, very much until I recently had a lesson with Aaron Smith. He's a drummer out in America. He kind of advised me against it because he said, that authentic feel may be lost from using the electronic kit, because the feel is totally different. And
Right.
also the sound will be different. But I really wanted to get one, but I don't think I would. I wouldn't advise it. I would say to get the actual acoustic kit, and you can get, Remo has some silent stroke heads. Zildjian has the low volume cymbals. So there's definitely a lot of options out there that I'm going to try to look into now, besides the electronic kit.
Low volume cymbals?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There are some low volume cymbals. Yes.
That sounds like a scam,
No, bro. It's actually low volume for real. It's
Really?
actually low volume for real. Yeah. I promise you.
Because when I think of a cymbal, I'm thinking of like a metal object, right?
Right.
And to me, any metal object that you have and you strike it, you
It
go
makes
into
noise.
yeah.
No, bro. I've actually used it before, and it's quite soft. It's not totally soft, but it's like
true.
night and day between an actual cymbal. So something you could check out, man. Something you could check out. I would advise it, especially in the Caribbean, where a lot of people practice, in apartments or very close proximity to other people.
All right.
Those low volume cymbals would be very handy, definitely.
All right. Yeah, we have some people on the live asking if I'm talking to the great Shaquille Noel. I want to
appreciate you.
confirm that yes, I am indeed talking to Shaquille in the green room this month.
Yes, sir.
And he was just telling me about these low volume cymbals, boy.
Definitely low volume cymbals by Zildjian. Zildjian, you need to sponsor me. This is free advertisement, okay? But yeah, definitely.
How do they do it though? Is it through the shape?
Okay, so I think it's the normal cast metal they use, but they cut holes into it. And then they use some type of very thin material on it. I'm not 100% sure, but if you check it out, you'll probably get a very good review on YouTube. But
okay,
it's definitely real.
All right. Low
Yes,
volume
bro.
cymbals. You learn. I honestly, every single time I sit in the green room with somebody, I learn something new, and that's something new for me tonight.
Yeah,
Low
definitely.
volume cymbals. So, moving forward, I have another question for you, man.
Okay.
I look at you're playing, and you're so clean and you're very intentional about what you do. Do you have formal training?
Yes and no. I actually started being self-taught, and then I actually went to school in Miami for a couple of years. I went to Miami-Dade College, Wolfson, for about 2 years. I was just about to graduate, and then life happened. But yeah, so I have some formal training. I also took private lessons with a couple of drummers out in the US as well. So
Okay.
Yeah.
What year were you at Miami-Dade?
I was at Miami-Dade from 2013 to about 2016.
All right.
About 2016.
Yeah, there was a time where I was actually considering Miami-Dade. It wasn't for music, but
okay.
I was thinking about going there for aviation, actually.
Right.
But
bro, Miami-Dade is a very, very, very great pathway school for me. Well, at least for musicians, because they allow you to do as many courses as you would like at a lower cost, obviously, and then you can transfer those credits when you're ready to go to an official 4-year school. So the degree I did was an Associate of Arts pathway degree. So I probably, if that's a whole other story, but we'll get into that. If I got through with my visa to be able to stay, I would have probably transferred to either Berkeley or University of Miami and finished my entire degree within about 2 semesters. So it's a really great option.
Yeah, boy. These days, Trump don't really want anybody to get their visa, So.
Yeah, bro. Definitely. Trump is not with the Caribbean. He's not with the Caribbean at all. Actually, he's not with anyone, but I think he's kind of picking on the Caribbean a little bit because I know a lot of people that have been waiting for years to get through. So
it's ridiculous at this point, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
But going back to the very beginning of your story here, you mentioned that you were initially self-taught. So what was the thing that got you started? Like, what made you first sit at a set?
It was actually another drummer. It was a drummer that gave me that inspiration. So I actually started my journey in music as a steel panist.
Okay.
So from the age of 6, I started learning steel pan, and when I was about 13, I remember walking into a room with this drummer by the name of Cale Thomas. He's a Trinidadian as well. Pretty good. He's a pretty good soca drummer as well. He started to play, and I just watched the effects that it had on the entire room. Everyone was just so like engrossed in what he was doing, and everyone was, into what he was doing. He basically captured the energy of everyone in the room, and it was just like that spark just hit me. I was like, wow, I need to do that. I want to do that. I want to walk into a room and light up that room with positive energy. You know what I mean?
All right.
Ever since then, I definitely took drums a lot more seriously. And yeah, that was the beginning for me. Definitely. I haven't stopped since.
Now, so you said his name was Cale Thomas, right?
Cale Thomas, yes.
Now, here's the thing. A lot of people get that inspiration, and you play at places, so you know that often after you play, people walk up to you and they say, hey man, I just really enjoyed that, man, you're really good.
Yep.
And the common story is, I always wanted to play drums,
right,
but I started, but then I stopped. Right. Now here's the thing, and this is something that I always think about and wonder about. What is the thing that caused you to continue and may have caused somebody else to stop? Like, why didn't you stop?
Wow. Well, straight off the bat, I'm going to say this is more of a personality thing than a music thing. And I have this super, super bad habit of never giving up. So when I commit myself to something and I'm passionate about it, I go 100%. It doesn't matter if it's, opening a pack of gummies or if it's practicing paradiddles until I get it at 300 BPM. But
right.
I have this obsession with never giving up and always, trying to keep that growth mindset. And, I think that kind of translated into the drums from a very young age. I kind of saw myself competing with myself. I always used to think of the drums as, I used to think of myself on the drums as, wearing a body of armor. So I would try to improve, the chest plates, or I try to improve the leg plates, take it step by step. But it was always an ongoing thing for me. It was always a growth mindset thing for me. So it definitely came from me getting that mentality down first before applying it to whatever it is I was doing at that time,
Yeah, man.
That's my philosophy behind not giving up.
I think this is a great moment to take that that mindset and that attitude to the rest of the Lucian Musician audience. I just want to tell anybody listening that that is definitely something that you should be moving forward with, from what Shaquille said, because oftentimes it's easy to start something and then get discouraged along the way because life is easy,
It's not easy at all. It's not easy.
It's not an easy road. So you have to make sure you just steel your will and keep pushing forward. Never give up. And
definitely.
That was a very admirable answer, man. I'm very impressed with that answer.
Thanks. Yeah.
So seeing just moving forward from even that answer, where do you see yourself pushing forward to in the next 5 years? Like, where do you see yourself pushing yourself beyond where you are now in the next 5 years?
Man, this question is super intimidating to me because like I have so many high hopes for myself, and I kind of question myself at times, but I definitely can't answer this question with a firm mindset that in the next 5 years I will see myself as an online educator.
Okay.
When it comes to drum set playing, when it comes to steel pan playing, steel pan arranging, improvisation, all those different things, I'm definitely going to work on setting up my online school and becoming an internationally renowned Caribbean modern drummer educator.
Okay.
Definitely. Also, I see myself becoming an influencer in some form or fashion. I've been taking Instagram a lot more seriously, and that's because a lot of people have given me that motivation to do so, because they say I inspire them with my videos, or I inspire them with, just my playing, and
Absolutely.
I take that very seriously. That's a gift to inspire others, and I want to definitely cultivate that to as high a point as possible. So I see myself becoming an influencer. I see myself becoming I can't say professional musician, but an even more professional musician, I guess. Try to keep that professionalism and make it even higher and higher and higher, and work for bigger acts. Support bigger acts. Probably try and tour. Things like that. I see myself doing so many different things, and I am intimidated by it, but I'm also very excited by it, because I have options and I have something to work towards. So that,
Right.
coupled with my growth mindset, I definitely think I'm going to just achieve all of those things and more.
Absolutely, man. And
Definitely.
myself and all the listeners on the IG live right now, we are witnesses to it, and we're going to hold you to it. We want to see you get there, man.
Okay.
That's a very, very good vision. I'm fully what's the word I'm looking for? I'm fully confident. Yes,
Right.
fully confident that you will realize that vision with your attitude, and I'm
Thank you.
looking
Thank you.
forward
Thank
to
you.
it. Um,
I appreciate that.
yeah, man. On your Instagram profile, you mentioned that you are an educator, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what led you to want to teach people your craft.
Well, what led me to it was actually being taught myself, actually, because I had a lot of mentors coming up. I had a lot of people that, willingly gave me information that I had no access to. And it really helped shape my playing. It really helped shape my musicianship. And I honestly just want to give that back. I want to be able to give people that edge through their knowledge of the instrument, through their knowledge of, theory, things like that. That really inspired me to want to be an educator. And this may sound weird, but I love kids, man. I love kids. I love working with kids. Kids are great, man. They once you get kids, to be receptive of what you're doing, you see them do amazing things. And I work at a school called St. Margaret's Boys Anglican. It's a primarily steel pan influence school, and we've done many great things, man. Like, we won the steel pan panorama like 10 years in a row, bro. Like, it's
You
we
took
we we
ownership of it, huh?
yeah, we definitely did that. And it's things like that that really inspired me to become an educator. Growing up in that environment where everyone is super, you know, sharing with their talents, it's very important, especially in, I wouldn't say third world countries, but I'll say the Caribbean. It's still developing in a lot of different ways. And every little bit helps, for sure, for sure, for sure. Every little seed you put into a young musician helps him,
All
for
right,
sure, man.
all right.
Definitely.
And not just them, but anybody else that they come into contact with in the future that
Definitely,
they can
definitely.
teach or show the
Yeah.
craft. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't have a lot of experience with the steel pen, and I've always been
Okay.
interested in the instrument. How can you tell me a little bit about the pen? Like, just give me a crash course.
Okay. When you say a crash course, in terms of what, the anatomy, or
Yeah, like how is the, like, let's say, the major scale set up on the steel pen surface?
huh? Well, how can I put that into words? I could probably show you better than I could tell you. Definitely. But if okay, let's say I could tell you about the chromatic scale. That might be a little bit easier
Okay.
to put it into perspective. So if you, okay, say you have a circle in front of you, and in the middle of, well, not the middle of the circle, the closest part of the circle to your body is low C or middle C.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond that, you have the octaves of the same set C. So you have low C, middle C, then you have the higher C, then the octave of that. Directly up from that, you have C sharp. So the pan is kind of, let's say the low C tenor pan is kind of set up in that way. So you have C, when you go up, C sharp, you augment, you go up, C sharp. You go down, you go back to D. After you go across now, so when you go to the left, you flatten, right? So you have C, C sharp, D, E flat, then you go across again, you get E, then you go down again, you get F. So you're kind of making a star-shaped pattern. with the
Okay.
steel pan, and that's how the notes kind of formulate into the circle. So, that's a basic synopsis. I'm very good at explaining with visuals. I promise you. But that's a brief idea of how the pan is set up.
So you mentioned that you like working with children, and
Right.
like, what you just said for me, probably because I'm old, I'm probably
Right.
too old. It sounds a lot more complicated than the structure of, let's say, maybe I'm just more familiar with it, but let's say
Mm-hmm.
the scale on a guitar or
Right.
a bass guitar.
Okay.
How would you deal with a difficult child trying to teach them a musical concept?
Okay, this is a great question. Usually it will take giving them a private lesson most of the time, because a lot of the children have difficulty learning those more complex ideas. They just need more attention, they just need a bit more time to grasp the ideas, really. So what I'd probably do is I'd talk to their parents and let them know, maybe let them stay back a bit more after practice, a bit more after the lesson, and just go through it with them. Also, what I try to do is I always try to give them homework, because, that's where the real growth is. You can't come to a class for an hour or 2 hours and expect to become, Beethoven, basically. So I try to give each student a specific skill set to practice at home. And those students that need a little bit extra, I give them a little bit extra to work on. And then they come back and, eventually we work through it together. So it's more of a me giving them extra time to really get it.
All right. You ever encounter any tone deaf children? I know that's a little out of the way, but that just came to my mind.
No. I probably have, but I probably wouldn't know that well because we don't do a lot of ear training with the kids yet.
Okay.
But I don't think I've encountered anyone tone deaf, at least children, at least children.
Yeah, man. I remember when I was at school, there was a guy, and the man told me that he found music to be annoying.
Damn, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. How can music be annoying? It's
He
everywhere.
found music to be irritated and annoying because it just sounded like noise to him because he was tone deaf. I don't know
that's crazy.
how that's possible.
I also don't know how that's possible. Like, music is so pleasing, It's so therapeutic. It's so many things. Like, it's definitely not annoying. It's many things except annoying,
Yeah, and that's one thing. That's one thing I just wonder, like, how common that is,
Right.
deaf people. We have somebody on the IG live laughing at them, but that's a serious thing,
Yeah, it is. Definitely. I actually know a couple of musicians who are tone deaf. Well, when I say musicians, I mean more so singers that are tone deaf. They don't hear that slight bend in their pitch between the notes. And, that's something that, people around you need to tell you that. So if anyone is listening and they have a friend that they think is tone deaf, definitely do the tone deaf test with them. And, sit them down and say, yo, you're tone deaf, bro. We need to work this out. We need to work this out for the next gig. Definitely.
First off, big up the man, Kyle Ernest, who is on the live right now.
Big up, Kyle. Big up.
He was on the last episode of The Green Room. If you're watching this, you can head back to the previous episode and listen to the conversation that I had with Kyle last month.
Okay.
But now, Shaquille, I'm going to stop you because you said you know a couple of singers that are tone deaf. I think you know people that sing that are tone deaf. You don't know singers.
Oh, wow.
Bro, you can't be a singer and be tone deaf, right?
That's a low blow, bro. That's a low blow, That's a low blow.
I'm just saying it how it is, right?
I understand what you mean, bro. I understand what you mean.
I don't see a singer that can be tone deaf, man.
Right. Well, a self-proclaimed singer, you got to give everyone their credit, man. Everyone has the right to be happy, They don't have to be right, but they have the right to be happy, Yeah, let them think they're singing, man. That's cool.
True. Now, since we're on the topic of children and we're on the topic of early education and all that kind of thing, I want to just create a hypothetical scenario here, right? Where you have, let's say we could time travel together, right?
Okay.
And we go back in your journey, we go back all through the years, and we get to you when you just started playing, like let's
Okay.
say after a year of playing or 2 years of playing,
Right.
and you now have the chance to sit with yourself and tell yourself, okay, don't do this, don't do that,
Right.
practice this, practice that. What would you tell yourself?
Huh. I honestly don't think I would. I don't think I would tell myself to change anything
Okay.
because I honestly think that everything happened for a reason, and it all contributed to me developing into the musician that I am. Like even the mistakes that I made previously in terms of practicing the wrong things or focusing on the wrong things that got me to the point where I could have seen that I was doing it, versus
Right.
someone telling me that I was doing it. So I don't think I have any regrets when it comes to, changing anything. But if I really had to change something, I would just tell myself, just be confident in what you're doing. You actually have the ability that people may think you don't have, but it's all about that, that self-confidence and, making sure that the mentality is
Right.
solid. Definitely.
Right.
I'll definitely tell myself that.
And I just want to remind or just tell anybody who's just joining us that the mentality that Shaquille was referring to here is one of never giving up. When I asked him earlier
Definitely.
what kept him going when he started playing, and what kind of separated him from somebody else that would have stopped,
Right.
his response was that he had a bad habit, which I disagree. I think it's a great habit. Was he has a bad habit of never giving up, and I really want to commend
Yep.
him for that. And I kind of want that to make I kind of want to make that the theme of the episode: never give up.
Okay.
And I think it's really the message that we should be pushing in these
Definitely.
coronavirus times.
Definitely.
There's
Definitely.
a lot of musicians are stuck home. A lot of musicians, lost all their gigs.
Definitely.
Musicians who are full-time musicians, some of them don't have health insurance, and now the
Right.
family might be in danger. So it's as much as we're not being too gloomy here,
Yeah.
we have to just encourage our musicians all around the world. So wherever you are, whatever you're
Definitely.
doing, just know that you're going to get through this, and this
Definitely.
isn't going to last forever.
Can I also add a couple, ideas to what you just said?
Yeah, man.
Okay. I agree. Obviously, I agree with everything you just said. I just want to say also that, there's hope. There's definitely hope. The world isn't as big as it once was.
All right.
Even us being able to interact via Instagram. You live in St. Lucia. I live in Trinidad. That was never a thing years ago, like about 30 years ago. That's probably would have been super hard to do,
All right.
So I would say definitely as a musician, as a creative, we live in probably the best time in history.
All right.
And it's all about your will. It's all about your application. It's all about your discipline. It's all about your consistency. It's all about never giving up,
All right.
because if you wanna, you wanna get some more gigs back, there's ways you can go about that. You can, try and reach out to a couple musicians, try and work out some online situation. There's a lot of IG lives happening. There's a lot of Facebook lives happening. There's Digicel doing a lot of collaborations with musicians.
All right.
To me, there's always a way, man. There's always a way through the noise for you to get your message across. But it's all about, like I said, having that mentality that, no obstacle can stop me from achieving success.
Right.
Definitely. Like for me, I'm probably one of those musicians that you mentioned that were full time and, kind of up in the air at the moment because, even when things cool down, it's not going to be as before. Gigs won't just start rolling back in. So You're going to have to think of creative ways to get that money going. You're going to have to, be financially savvy. So, there's being a musician and there's being in the music business. So you have to very much educate yourself about all the factors that come into play, There's a lot of people that are musicians right now making passive income of their songs or making passive income of YouTube, things like that. We really just need to, have that clear directive mentally and just deliver, man. Just go for it. Never give up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Yeah, man.
you said it better than I could ever say it, man. And there are two words that you mentioned there that I also want to just bring up and just re-emphasize. You mentioned consistency and
Right.
creativity.
Yep.
I think one of the hardest things, probably even compared to never giving up, is the need for consistency.
Definitely.
A lot of people might never give up, but in never giving
Right.
up, there were a lot of times where they kind of stop, then they kind of start
Right.
again. And because of
Definitely.
stopping, they lose a lot of momentum, and then
Right.
it's very damaging because they were not consistent.
Very
And
true.
what are some ways that you could say that you have worked on your own consistency, or people that in your life that keep you accountable?
That's definitely one. Keep having a good support system to keep you accountable for your set goals. I would say try and figure out a schedule for yourself. Try to write things down. That's the major thing. Like when you have an idea, you write it down, and then you try to formulate a plan based off of that. I have thousands and thousands of notes of undone ideas, but I know I can go back to it because it's there, And now to form the consistency, I would say have a very clear plan, have a very clear directive about what it is you're trying to achieve.
Right.
So let me give an example. Say you want to become, let's say, an Instagram drummer, for example. Let's just use that as an example.
Right.
You want to have thousands of views and you want to have a whole bunch of traffic to your page. You want, brand deals, you want endorsements, you want sponsorships, you want all these different things. Obviously, the first thing you're going to have to do is, develop quality content. But in order to develop quality content, you have to have quality art to deliver. So
Right.
you yourself have to become exactly what it is you want people to see, So it all goes back again to your mentality. You now have to view yourself in a way that, I want to become one of the best Instagram drummers. So you go look at one of the best Instagram drummers, you see what they're doing, imitate, and then innovate,
Right.
But it all comes back down to self. You have to basically sit yourself down and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to write these goals down. These are going to be my long-term goals. These are going to be my short-term goals. You develop a roadmap to get to those goals and, embrace the process because it's never going to go the way you want it to go. It never happens. Never, ever happens. But to develop that consistency, you have to go through all of those, heartbreaks and all of those disappointments.
Absolutely.
And that's when you become strong mentally.
Absolutely, man. And I hope the people listening know, that the advice they're getting right now is something that they normally have to pay for, That's
definitely.
Yeah, this is some serious advice here, especially what you mentioned about writing things down.
Yep.
People don't often talk about the power of writing down things that need to happen, writing down things that need to be done.
Yes, sir.
And I think it's not stated enough. I've mentioned this on a few episodes now, but what I typically mention is that I'm now learning the guitar, but I didn't mention how I'm forcing myself to do so.
Right.
So basically, when I bought my guitar, right, I didn't want to be one of the people that buy a guitar and then after a few weeks, now it's just collecting dust in the house. And you never really learned. It's just something that you wanted to do. You never did, right?
Right.
So I made an Excel spreadsheet. And I said, all right, I'm going to do 1,000 hours on this instrument.
Nice.
I have a feeling that by the time I get to 1,000 hours, I should know something, right?
Right.
So,
I mean, you should.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, right? So as we speak, I'm currently at 226 hours, right?
Okay. Keeping a log. That's super dope. That's super dope. I never thought of that one for sure.
And by doing so, I'm just kind of forcing myself to keep going. I'm forcing myself to keep learning, and I'm forcing myself to keep growing. When I get to 1,000 hours, it's not like I'll get a medal, but I will probably know a lot more than I did when I started,
Definitely.
So,
and you learn a lot about yourself as well.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Learn a lot about yourself,
Yeah. So the only reason I mentioned this for those on the call is write stuff down, man. Write your goals and work towards them,
Definitely. I 100% agree.
Yeah, man. Now and I know this always happens very quickly, but we're actually now at the tail end of the episode.
Oh man.
we try to be consistent with the 40 minutes.
Okay.
So before we end the episode, just give us some parting thoughts. Stuff on your mind, stuff you want the Caribbean community of musicians to know about, or the worldwide audience of musicians to know about. Just share it with us.
Well, definitely, I'm going to start with the world. I'm going to say world. The Caribbean musicians have it. We have it. We have exactly what it takes to be a part of your entire industry.
Absolutely.
Caribbean musicians, we need to start taking ourselves much more seriously. We need to start putting in even more work. We need to develop our crafts and get it way past the net that we set for ourselves, because we are all so amazingly talented. I would really, really want all of us to realize that what we have is so special. People look at us as a novelty. People look at us like, wow, what are they doing? What are they singing? What are they playing? Like, it sounds so different. It feels so different. We need to start zoning in onto that and owning that gift that we got and really developing it,
Absolutely.
Another thing I definitely like to say, man, let's all support each other. Let's all come together, because that's the only way it's going to be easier for us, It's going to be super hard with everyone trying to do it on their own. I was mentioning before to my friend at Lucia Musicians that, I see a lot of the crab in a barrel mentality where everyone is like, I have to topple over this person to get to where I'm going. No, there's definitely enough space for each and every one of our gifts, right? The fight is not with friendship, man. The fight is with poverty. The fight is with negative energy, man. That's the fight. So let's come together and let's definitely, help build each other up. And yeah, that's the best I can say, man. That's the best I can say.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Shaquille's information will be posted along with this episode. I'm so excited for all the future conversations we'll be having together. Remember to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, like on Facebook. All of those links can be accessed from the website www.lucianmusicians.com. You can expect an episode of The Green Room on the second week of every single month. See y'all later.